This has to be the weirdest house I've ever built. It's a 2D Minecraft house, perfectly made for Flat Stanley. But oh my goodness, the interior was an absolute headache to make. And don't even get me started about getting the angles. Right here is the most satisfying part. And then if you're noticing the hole in the middle, I didn't want to just make it a giant wall, so I just added this little circle just to add a little bit of detail to it, you know? I couldn't do anything crazy with these sides, so I just added some windows with a bit of overhangs, but later on you'll notice that the house kind of looks like a bat, so I just run with that theme and we just got a bat house. If you notice, I use only spruce trapdoors, and that's because there's no transparent pixels within it. Also, I tried messing around with the exterior to try to add other trapdoors, but they just don't work. They just really stand out like a sore thumb. I try to keep a lot of the build inside of that one block, just so you get the aesthetic of looking at it from the side and seeing just like the one strip. It's got to be easily one of my favorite parts with this base, because if you're walking up to it at the wrong angle, you can completely miss the entire house just because it's like literally a stack of blocks straight up. One thing that I was disappointed in that I couldn't do was add anything to the face, but I also didn't want to ruin the aesthetic of it being 2D, but it also just bothered me that it was completely empty in the front. Later on, you can kind of see that I add something in the middle of that circle just to kind of add a bit more oomph to the build, because I hated how bland the front and back was, so I had to add something, of course. I think the roof is the only place I really broke the 2D rule, just because I had to put some sort of overhang, just because it looked too weird just having one strip across the top. So I just added one of the variations of the deep slate block around the brim. I kind of try to make like almost like a lightning ball inside of it, but later on I switch it over so that it's not protruding outwards and it's just like flat against it. Kind of almost looks like an eyeball later. All right, it's about time we get into the interior. Crocodile, alligator, I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Anyways, I put the mine directly in the middle just so it's the easiest thing to get to. You'll see later on, there's a few things that just won't fit in this base, period, because of course it's only one block wide, but we'll get to that later. I sectioned the house off into 3 separate floors. I made sure you have plenty of vertical space in a lot of these spaces, just so you don't feel crammed up. Just because the walls are so close to you, you feel very claustrophobic inside the space a lot of the time. And you're probably wondering, where the heck is the storage, furnaces, and just general random stuff that you use in games gonna be? And yeah, later on, I had quite the difficult situation getting everything to fit in this thing. And don't worry, we have all that and more, because later on I even added a little secret storage area inside this thing just so your friends can't steal your diamonds. Also later on, I do leave a lot of extra space on the top floor because you can add storage up there, but it's just really weird and I just didn't like the look of it. So I just left it nice and open just to let you guys give a chance and let me know what you'd put up here. A nice benefit to having these tall ceilings is that you can add hanging lanterns all over the place. The circle that I added in the middle of the house gave me a little bit of trouble just because it made all the rooms kind of weird, so I had to add more trapdoors. And this is actually where our hidden room comes into play. Also, after I finished recording this, I was so disappointed. I looked back at the footage and realized my OBS froze like 3/4 of the way through. Made me really sad, but what can you do? Stuff happens. I was honestly debating on going back and refilming it, but I really didn't want to delay this any more than I already have. I also apologize for some of these angles. It's just really tough trying to get some nice angles inside of this place just because all the walls are so close together, and a lot of the time you can't see what I'm doing from far away, so I gotta do some of the angles like this. I end up using barrels for the storage area, but you could definitely swap them out for double chests, but I think these just looked so much nicer. Other than that, I just had some ladders in the middle for easier access to those top barrels, and then we move on to the secret storage area. The main reason this secret storage area works is because all the other blocks around you are the spruce trapdoors, and I'm using these as the door, so it blends right in. Once again, we take advantage of these high ceilings and add some lanterns. A lot of this house is basically a mirror split right down the middle, but the only thing that's not is the bed. I was originally going to have it open on both sides and have ladders going up to it, but I thought it was just too bland and just stuck out way too much. So I ended up putting a little canopy type doodad just so it blocks the other side off, just so it kind of makes its own little room. Then I jumped over to my other storage area that I did before the other one, and I just swapped it over because I like the other one a lot more. That also means you have a second hidden storage spot. Also, there's a secondary storage area sort of. It's just this mini storage that's 3 barrels on the side. Probably a good spot to put food and stuff. I added these 2 little pedestals, but later on I work on them a bit more. For the furnaces, I put them on the first floor on the roof, and then I do 2 sets of 4. So total you have 8 furnaces. This is where I add the extra storage, but I just don't like the look of it, so I end up getting rid of it. And then I turn those little pedestals into little balconies to add our brewing stations. I do both of them as brewing areas, but of course you could definitely switch it up and put something else there. But I did it for that beautiful symmetry. Now for the things that wouldn't fit inside of the 2D house. We've got the nether portal, which I just couldn't fit. And I tried every single way of trying to get the enchantment table to work in like a 1x1 by putting bookcases on the floor and on the roof, but they just didn't work. Alrighty, let's take a tour of this bad boy. So of course, furnaces and bed, first floor, mine directly in the middle. We've got storages on second floor on both sides, basically duplicated. And then we got these kind of hidden away areas, which are both brewing areas, but you could definitely switch one over to something else. Then of course, located down in the mine, we've got our nether portal and enchantment area. This house feels super weird because it's so big yet so small because of the interior. I'm thoroughly intrigued. If you guys end up doing one of these, I'd definitely love it for you guys to send it to my Twitter. It'll be down in my description and it would absolutely make my day. I quickly fixed the lightning ball and changed it over to an eye just so it stays inside of the parameters of the 2D house. Of course, you could change it up and do whatever you want if you end up doing this, because of course, I'd love to see what kind of ideas you guys come up with. I really hope you guys enjoyed this 2D Minecraft house, so give it a like, subscribe, and I hope to see all you beautiful souls around. And don't forget, stay creative, stay diligent, and I'll catch you around. Peace.